What if I told you someone just created a vehicle so jaw-droppingly gorgeous that it literally stopped traffic the second people saw it? Not because of an accident, not because of a celebrity behind the wheel, but because the car itself demanded every pair of eyes in its direction. This isn't your typical luxury ride that rich folks show off at country clubs. This is something completely different, something that made even the harshest automotive critics forget their usual skepticism and just stare. Picture this. You're scrolling through your feed, and suddenly you see it. A car that looks like it drove straight out of a dream you didn't even know you had. The curves aren't just aerodynamic. They're emotional. The lines don't just cut through air. They cut through everything you thought you knew about what a car should look like. And behind this absolute masterpiece stands a man whose name you need to remember, because he's about to change everything we think we know about innovation and design. This story isn't just about metal and machines. It's about vision. It's about someone who looked at the entire automotive industry and said, yeah, that's nice, but watch this. And then he went ahead and built something that made everyone else's work look like rough sketches in comparison. Now, I know what you're thinking. Every year, some company claims they've built the most revolutionary vehicle ever made. We've heard it all before, right? But when this car was unveiled, something extraordinary happened. The people who spend their entire careers critiquing designs, the engineers who've seen every innovation under the sun, they all had the exact same reaction. Complete silence. Not because they had nothing to say, but because words felt inadequate. From the very first glance, you can tell this machine wasn't created by someone playing it safe. Every single element has been thought through with obsessive precision. But it's not just about looking pretty. This car had to make you feel something the moment you saw it. The designer behind this revolution understood something fundamental that others missed. A truly beautiful car doesn't just sit there looking good in photos. It communicates. It tells a story without saying a word. And when you see this particular vehicle in person, it doesn't whisper its story to you. It grabs you by the shoulders and makes you listen. Think about the most iconic cars in history, the ones that defined the entire era. Those vehicles didn't just follow trends. They created them. They made other manufacturers scramble back, wondering how they missed something so obvious. This car, it's doing exactly that, but on an entirely different level. Here's where it gets really interesting. The creator didn't just want to build something beautiful. What he wanted was to completely redefine what people expected from a vehicle. He wanted to blur the lines between transportation, technology, and art in ways nobody had successfully done before. The exterior alone is enough to make you question reality. Imagine surfaces that seem to shift character depending on where you're standing. From one angle, you see pure elegance, sophisticated lines that flow like water. Move a few feet to the side, and suddenly you're looking at something aggressive, powerful, ready to pounce. It's not an optical illusion. It's intentional design that plays with your perception in the most brilliant way possible. But we're just getting started, because if the outside makes you stop and stare, the inside will make you forget you're looking at a car altogether. When those doors open, and yes, they don't swing outward like normal doors. They rise upward like something out of science fiction. You're not stepping into a vehicle, you're entering an entirely different world. The cabin doesn't just look futuristic. It feels alive, lighting that shifts based on your mood. Seats that aren't just comfortable, they're sculpted to embrace you perfectly, whether you're cruising calmly or taking corners at speed. And the dashboard, forget everything you know about car interiors. This thing responds to touch, to voice, to gestures, as if it's reading your mind before you even know what you want. Every surface, every material, every tiny detail has been chosen not just for aesthetics, but for creating an experience. The creator wanted anyone who sat inside to feel like they'd stepped into the future. And when you're actually sitting there, surrounded by this level of craftsmanship and innovation, you realize he succeeded beyond what should have been possible. Now let's talk about what's happening under all that gorgeous body. The powertrain in this machine challenges everything we thought we understood about performance. It's silent when it needs to be, efficient in ways that seem impossible, yet when you demand power, it responds like you've just unleashed something that's been waiting to explode. Engineers who tested this vehicle came back with the same bewildered expression. The acceleration is smooth, controlled, like the car is anticipating exactly how much power you want before your foot even hits the pedal. Every turn feels intuitive. Every response feels perfectly calibrated. But here's the twist that really made people's heads spin. Hidden throughout the vehicle is an entire network of intelligent systems that work together in ways most people didn't even think were possible yet. We're talking about aerodynamics that optimize themselves automatically, safety technology that doesn't just react to danger, but predicts it before it happens. Energy systems so advanced they make current electric vehicles look like they're stuck in the past. This car doesn't just respond to what you do. It learns from it, it adapts, it evolves based on how you drive, where you drive, what you need. Think about that for a second. You're not just buying a machine. You're getting a vehicle that becomes more suited to you the longer you use it. That's not just smart technology. That's borderline revolutionary. And then there's the design philosophy that really separated this creation from everything else on the market. Most automotive designers obsess over symmetry. They want everything balanced, predictable, familiar. Not this creator. He decided to break those rules completely. He played with asymmetry, with how light reflects off different surfaces, with the actual psychology of how humans perceive movement and form. The result is something that literally changes depending on your perspective. You could walk around this car 5 times and discover something new each time. It's not just a static object sitting in a showroom. It's a dynamic piece of art that interacts with light, with space, with the person viewing it. You don't just look at this car, you experience it differently every single time. When the creator first revealed this masterpiece to the media, the reaction was instant and overwhelming. Professional critics who had seen thousands of vehicles, who prided themselves on maintaining objectivity, just stood there with their mouths open. Photographers who usually focused on getting the perfect technical shot found themselves taking pictures just because they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Social media absolutely erupted. Within hours, this wasn't just another car launch. It had become a genuine phenomenon. But even with all the attention, most people were still only scratching the surface of what this vehicle could actually do. Because beyond the stunning looks, beyond the intelligent systems, beyond the performance that seemed to defy physics, the creator had embedded something so bold and futuristic that it fundamentally challenged how we think about the relationship between humans and their vehicles. This feature blurred the lines between driver and machine in ways that made even seasoned automotive engineers question whether the industry would ever be the same. It represented a philosophical shift, not just a technological one. The idea that a vehicle could be more than just transportation, more than just a status symbol, more than even just a beautiful piece of engineering. The concept that it could be a true partner in how we move through the world. Every detail of this creation reflected a deeper philosophy. Beauty isn't just about shape and color. It's about function, experience, and having the courage to imagine something the world isn't ready for yet. The creator didn't just build a car to compete with other luxury brands. He built a statement that said the future belongs to those who dream bigger than anyone thought possible and have the skill to transform those dreams into reality. And here's what really gets me. This is just the beginning. The creator has hinted at updates, expansions, even completely new variations that could push this design into territory we haven't even begun to explore. Imagine a vehicle that doesn't just adapt to your current needs, but it actually anticipates what you'll want tomorrow, next week, next year. A car that evolves alongside technology itself, constantly improving, constantly learning, never becoming outdated. Then came the moment that truly changed everything. The creator invited select journalists and automotive experts for a private demonstration. Everyone expected a standard reveal, but what actually happened left every person completely speechless. The car sat beneath a sleek covering. When the moment came, the creator made a subtle gesture, and the vehicle began to transform. Panels shifted. Lights traced along the body's curves as if the car was breathing. A soft hum filled the space, something that sounded almost alive. Then the creator pressed a hidden control, and the car's full intelligence came to life. Screens illuminated with a 3-dimensional interface unlike anything anyone had seen. Holographic projections displayed terrain analysis, traffic predictions, energy optimization, all calculated in real time. One engineer in the crowd whispered something that perfectly captured what everyone was feeling. This isn't a car, it's a partner. And just when people thought they'd seen everything this machine could do, the creator revealed the feature that truly made this vehicle unprecedented. A modular drone system integrated directly into the vehicle's body. 5 miniature drones unfolded seamlessly from hidden compartments, lifting slightly into the air with perfect precision. each one capable of scouting terrain ahead, capturing high-definition footage, even assisting with navigation in extreme conditions. The level of integration seemed impossible. It looked like something ripped straight from science fiction. The crowd erupted. Some people were cheering. Some were shaking their heads in disbelief. But absolutely everyone was in awe of what they'd just witnessed. The creator smiled, clearly enjoying the reaction. But you could tell this was exactly what he'd hoped for. Shock, wonder, the sudden realization that everything they thought they knew about vehicles had just been completely redefined. But the demonstration wasn't finished. The creator activated the propulsion system, and the car glided forward with the smoothness of something floating rather than rolling. No traditional engine noise, no vibration, just pure, silent power that seemed to defy the very laws of physics. Spectators watched it move and couldn't quite process what they were seeing because every expectation they had about how vehicles should behave was being challenged. The precision was unsettling in the best way possible. The car navigated through a demonstration course with movements so calculated, so perfect, that it seemed less like a machine being controlled and more like an intelligent being making its own decisions. Every turn was flawless. Every adjustment was instantaneous. Watching it move was like watching a predator, in perfect control of its environment. Then the creator demonstrated the vehicle's environmental awareness systems. Sensors throughout the car were constantly analyzing everything around it. Not just other vehicles or obstacles, but weather patterns, road conditions, even the behavior of pedestrians nearby. The car wasn't just navigating its environment. It was understanding it, predicting it, responding to it in ways that seemed impossibly advanced. One journalist tried to capture it on camera but stopped halfway through because the technology was almost too much to process. This was an incremental improvement over existing vehicles. This was a complete leap forward into something entirely new. The vehicle was functioning as an intelligent organism, interacting with its surroundings in real time, making decisions that prioritized safety, efficiency, and performance simultaneously. And then came the final reveal that truly stunned everyone watching. The creator activated the car's adaptive interior environment system. Soft ambient lighting shifted as the car detected changes in passenger mood and energy. Audio settings adjusted automatically, blending music and environmental sounds to optimize focus, relaxation, or excitement depending on what was needed in that moment. Every touch, every gesture, every glance inside that cabin was anticipated and enhanced by the vehicle itself. It wasn't just responding to commands. It was predicting needs before they were even expressed. The level of integration between human and machine was something nobody in that room had experienced before. But the moment that truly made people realize this changed everything came next. The creator demonstrated the car's energy autonomy in real time without stopping, without connecting to any charging station. The vehicle adjusted its energy consumption while simultaneously absorbing solar power from panels integrated into its design. Kinetic energy from braking and normal movement was being harvested and recycled seamlessly. Engineers in the crowd started whispering to each other, realizing what they were seeing. This vehicle was literally sustaining itself using its environment while still performing at peak efficiency. The implications were staggering. This wasn't just an improvement in electric vehicle technology. This was potentially a complete transformation of how we think about vehicle energy systems. Within hours, news spread across the entire globe. Media outlets from every major city scrambled to cover the story. Social feeds flooded with clips of the car moving, the drones hovering, the interface that seemed to read minds. When people saw the vehicle in person, their reactions were instant: gasps, cheers, wide-eyed disbelief. The car's presence was magnetic in a way that made everything else feel ordinary. The creator demonstrated the car's synchronization with its drone network, projecting a holographic map above the vehicle. Streets, traffic patterns, environmental data, all updating in real time. The crowd realized this machine wasn't just navigating, it was actively managing its entire environment. As journalists struggled to process what they were witnessing, the creator activated the predictive system. The car demonstrated maneuvers that seemed impossible, anticipating every other vehicle, avoiding potential problems before they could develop. Then came the demonstration that cemented this as a true phenomenon. The creator revealed the car's modular adaptability panels, shifted aerodynamic features, adjusted mid-motion, and the entire form seemed to subtly change, optimizing for speed, efficiency, or impact, depending on what the environment required. Celebrities present, tech leaders, automotive legends, they all recognized they were witnessing something historic. The creator stayed calm through it all, but you could see the excitement in his eyes. As cameras rolled and drones hovered, the creator pressed one final command. The car responded instantly, not just performing tasks, but communicating with its environment, with the drones, with the people around it. A faint hum filled the air, almost musical, almost like the vehicle was trying to speak. The crowd fell completely silent, understanding they were witnessing the birth of something new. Even as applause finally erupted, news channels were already flashing updates across the globe. Social media exploded with every angle, every feature, every incredible moment. Millions watched the live stream. Billions would see the footage within hours. But the creator knew the story was far from over. The world had seen what the car could do, but they hadn't yet experienced its full potential. The revolution wasn't just beginning. It was already transforming how people thought about the future of mobility. As the demonstration concluded and drones descended, a quiet settled over everyone. Not confusion, but the kind of silence that follows witnessing genuine history. The creator stood beside his creation, hand resting on its surface, as if acknowledging this machine had transcended its physical form. It was proof that the future doesn't always come from expected places. This wasn't just about unveiling the most beautiful car in the world. This was a statement that innovation has no borders, that brilliance isn't owned by legacy brands. That vision and imagination can reshape entire industries. As the final cameras powered down and people slowly dispersed, one truth remained absolutely undeniable. The automotive world had crossed a threshold it could never return from. Designers would rethink their entire approach. Engineers would question limitations they'd accepted for decades. Competitors would rush back to their studios, knowing they'd just witnessed a new benchmark they hadn't set. As the demonstration concluded and drones descended, a quiet settled over everyone. Not confusion, but the kind of silence that follows, witnessing genuine history. The creator stood beside his creation, hand resting on its surface, as if acknowledging this machine had transcended its physical form. It was proof that the future doesn't always come from expected places. This wasn't just about unveiling the most beautiful car in the world. This was a statement that innovation has no borders, that brilliance isn't owned by legacy brands. That vision and imagination can reshape entire industries. As the final cameras powered down and people slowly dispersed, one truth remained absolutely undeniable. The automotive world had crossed a threshold it could never return from. Designers would rethink their entire approach. Engineers would question limitations they'd accepted for decades. Competitors would rush back to their studios knowing they'd just witnessed a new benchmark they hadn't set.